Good evening and welcome to another edition of Just in Case You Missed Sunday School. I am your host, Minister Rodney Nichols. Tonight we have a special guest, an Omaha icon, Mr. William King, who'll be with us shortly. Just want to give you a little background. It says William King, Mr. King, is a product of, as he tells you himself, of the Omaha Hilltop Projects. He was raised by parents who anchored him in the church from a very young age. Those early years provided foundational blueprint he uses today. And you don't want to miss out on Mr. King, Pastor New Hope, because he's the only hope we got, as he says on his radio show. Um, Tonight, we're going to look at how people lead in the face of sometimes leading while bleeding. And when they make sure that they continue to do what they're called to do and continue to overcome. And Mr. King has definitely demonstrated that over a period of years in building his radio station and different things. So don't turn away. Don't leave. Hopefully he'll be on shortly, and we'll be back in just a little bit. Well, once again, and we're back. Mr. King is having a little technical difficulties. He'll be with us shortly on. I hope. If not, we'll just go on and proceed. But one of the things I guess I wanted to bring up something that took place a couple of weeks ago at the Mount Calvary Community Church under the senior leadership pastor Bishop KJ Chambers, where we had churches from different denominations come together and pray for over a 24-hour period. And it was a very, very special event, in my opinion. And if you wanted to see those particular 1 hours in churches that they were doing, I've been doing a thing in the morning called Morning Manna, which you can at 6 o'clock each morning, and you'll be able to. It's just basically an opportunity to start your day out with the Lord and praying and reading scriptures. But I've been posting these great churches that participated in that. The Mount Calvary Community Church, Church on Purpose under Jonathan Chapman, Rising Star under Johnny Moore, New Rising Star under Pastor John Lucas, um, Reverend Alvin McCruel from the St. John Baptist Church. All have done some really, really great work. So if you have the time to stop by in the morning, we'll be doing that. But it looks like we have Mr. King is made the arrival, a very, very busy man, and I'm glad he took the time out to come and hang out with me a little while.
Hey, what's up?
Hello, Mr. King.
I'm trying to make sure I got all that stuff.
Take a look, you hypnotized behind my long strong stretch your insides for real, man. With your thick
man's always working.
both holes past the nine, or past the Nate, or past the Young, or past the horse. Then that fatty getting tossed. Forget a hustler book, penthouse, a black belt. I got shit. Then my dog flicks in jail. I take nothing but face, more than a waste for real. And ain't no booty like me.
So are you
fail bust 3 times, throw with a peace sign, some fleece in my.
I think you're still working it out with the technical stuff on that side. But like I said, it was a wonderful time, and I think you should really get a chance to hear the prayers of the various churches and pastors of what they were led to share that week. Mount Sinai participated, Eagle's Nest, a lot of great churches. Let's see if he's ready to go. He's up now. How you doing, sir? Are you?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
I can hear you and I can see you.
Okay, all right. Well, cool. Let me see. But let me see. Can you hear me with this? Okay, now I'm gonna go with this one. But let me see. External. I need a headphone. I want where I get feedback if I do external headphones.
You might get a echo. Might get an echo from there.
Okay, I'm just gonna I got bad hair day, so don't try
Well,
to
be
choose.
thankful you still got hair, bruh.
Yeah, try to the
Some
game.
of us didn't get those great genes. Well, how are you today, sir?
Man, I'm doing good. Hey, Allison, can you turn that light on for me? See if it. Yeah, there you go. Cause I'm dark. I'm dark. I
Okay,
got
that
yeah,
brought a little light to the situation.
heck yeah. I'm dark, man. So I just want to make sure
How
that,
is
man, I'm doing good. It's good to be alive.
it is a great thing to be alive. It's a
Yeah,
great
so
time to be alive. It's
yeah,
always a good time. I mean, I think there's a lot of great things, and you engaged in a lot of great things you're doing right now. So, how is the good pastor, Reverend Newhold? The only hope we got.
man. I'm blessed. I'm really blessed, and so I can't complain. We're just trying to stay consistent and persistent. Um, and so we can make a difference in our community. And
You're
so
definitely doing that. I don't have all that education like you have. So you know how these stars are. They got all these prepositions and verbs and nouns and adjectives in the way they want to introduce yourself. So if there is somebody who has been under a rock in the last 15 years or better, because this is the man who Michael Jordan, some people say he's the GOAT in the NBA, said that his dunking skills at that time was next level. So I mean, if you get that kind of compliment from somebody like that, you got to be there. So tell us some background on William King for those who may not know.
well, of course, born in Riverside, California. My dad was in the Air Force. I moved here when I was 3 months old, and never left. My dad, of course, moved on and lived most of his life overseas. So I had pretty much a writing relationship with my father because my mama couldn't read or write. So even though a child yearned for his father, I didn't want to write, but I had to because my mama, uh, she made me. And indirectly, she didn't allow me to hate my father, and so we developed a more of a writing relationship. And so I wrote my dad, and my dad responded, and so we had that kind of relationship. And so when he did come back, I spent a lot of time with him. And one thing that he did teach me, you know, being his son, he always told me to go straight, and so I can recognize a crooked person or uh, by the way they talk, or by the way they move. And so that's why I got a very small circle, because you can expect other people to lie, cheat, steal, rob, kill, murder, incest, rape, because we live on Earth. So I try to make a difference. My mom taught me about God. Went to the Million Man March. That's the first time I actually felt God. And so I understood why those women, I grew up Baptist, and I understood why those women were shouting over there. I couldn't understand why they were shouting. I understood when I went to the Million Man March, and when I actually, felt the presence of God. And I still feel them, at certain times. I just get my body just changes when God is in the room. And so my ultimate goal is to continue to manifest my God-given talents. And the only way to do that, you got to work on God's skills. And I try to be as ethical as possible. I'm not perfect. Today, since I'm on your show, I went up another degree. I'm about 93% saved right now. And so
Once saved, always saved, my friend.
and so now we implementing Project 2026. You know what I mean? And that's putting responsibility not only self but those that are responsible for the livelihood of our community. And the church have always been the foundation where our ancestors couldn't go nowhere. They can always depend on the church. My mama grew up in Mississippi. My daddy grew up in Alabama, which is, two of the harshest states when it came to slavery. And since we're in Black Heritage Month, some people call it Black History Month. I call it Black Heritage because we are living our history. It's not in the past; it's in the present and the future. And so, I'm just carrying that torch of where my parents didn't have the education or the opportunity to run a business. Now I'm able to, and having a tool of a radio station, I want to make sure that I make sure that I'm the voice of now, of my ancestors, and of the future. And so, it's kind of like a little synopsis. I know I'm kind of everywhere. I'm not used to being interviewed. I'm used to being the interviewee.
Well, it's a little different, but that's one of the things I noticed in researching from this, because they were saying that you wanted to bridge the gap of the digital divide, and you were working with some Native American communities and some other people to make sure that they had resources and access. So could you explain a little bit more about that? I thought that was pretty cool, man. I was like,
well,
more about that.
When I got into radio, I went to a conference in Denver, and they had a wireless network set up at the conference, and I was fascinated. I said, I can hook up my internet all over, and they hooked it up. I said, dang it. So they developed a mesh network, in indoors. And so I said, I can do this in Omaha. You know what I mean? And so I developed my plan, and I was, shopping around for many, many years, developing, researching it, going to conferences. And then everybody told me no, like they did with the radio station. And then COVID came. And there was funding for internet that second year through the Trump administration when he first got elected. And I took advantage of I think it was called the ACA American. It was something. It was one of those funding that I took advantage of, and they had a lot of money nationwide to introduce internet for those that were underserved or those that didn't have internet at all. And so I knew for a fact that Native Americans were going to be discriminated against, and Blacks. I mean, that's just the way it is. And so my contact, because you need a contact on the reservation, my contact, I went to college with her, and that's how I got the deal to go on the reservation to build. And it was funded through the federal government, through the Trump administration. Now the ultimate goal is to build here in Omaha, and we're working on something here in Omaha. And hopefully we'll be able to announce something big this year. And when it comes to providing internet service here in Omaha to the underserved here in North and South Omaha, and even areas of West Omaha, because once we build the network out, it's going to cover, it'll cover the whole city, because we're looking at LTE, cellular internet, to provide. Black-owned company, and we plan on using the same philosophy as Buffett. We want to use collective then what is it? Crowdfunding. It's and the crowdfunding approach where you have dividends or at least voting rights. And so that's our goal. But right now we're blessed to start running a radio station in Kansas City, which is a top 30 market, and so our attention right now has been propping up our station here in Omaha, which is the oldest, longest running Black radio station in Nebraska history, 11 years, and take it over another station down in Kansas City, 189 miles away, which is double the market and 10 times.
What is the radio down in Kansas City? Because my daughter lives there, so I go down to Kansas City.
So they 98.5.
98.5.
And it's called right now called Urban Oldies. We're playing oldies. So 80s, 90s, 2000s. We're playing on that station. However, I just put a patent in for timeshare radio. We're gonna be doing something totally unique that's never been done in the history of radio. We're gonna be doing. I ain't gonna tell everything because I don't want nobody copycat. But I'm not really worried about nobody copycat because there's not too many black people that got broadcast licenses in the nation besides Kathy Hughes. Kathy Hughes from Omaha, she has the most in regards to black ownership. Now, this last cycle, I was able to help 7 new stations, obtain their construction permit from Dallas, Denver, the Poconos, which is one of the richest areas of America. 4 new stations here in Omaha, Lincoln, and so and our goal is to create a voice for the voiceless in those areas also. And Denver and Dallas are our top markets.
Yep. So how did you develop this tenacity habit? You said your dad was in the military.
Yeah, but dad's military. Yeah, and then my mama, I couldn't disappoint my mama. I learned early that failure's not an option. And my number one.
What'd you say there?
That failure is not an option.
Failure is not an okay.
Yeah, failure is not an option. I learned that early because I had to read to my mom. I had to write for her. And so I learned earlier that failure is not an option. I might have an obstacle, but I'm gonna get over an obstacle. I figure how to get over them. I use my intelligence or use patience.
So when you say that, because one of the topics and I heard you were talking about this on one of your radios this morning, and that's why I was thinking about leading while bleeding. They think, we see William King, and he's always smiling, always upbeat and everything, but he probably has had to go through his own share of obstacles and frustrations dealing in Omaha community. And what is it that keep your focus? Because you started at one thing. And Omaha is kind of like I like watching Star Trek. Omaha is kind of like the Board Collective. If you ever familiar with that, there's people here that think resistance is futile. Either you're gonna blend in and be like everybody else,
right,
or you're gonna have problems. But you have decided you are still going to be this individual. And how would you recommend other people who are looking at business and wanting to got an idea or a dream of doing something, but sometimes the very people that you want to help are some of them are the most painful. How did you negotiate that?
Well, my degree is in behavioral science, and so I studied a lot of ologies, and so I know that that we're dealing with post-traumatic slave disorder per se, and so what that has caused is that we don't love ourselves, and usually a person that don't love themselves have problems with loving someone else. But my mama taught me how to love myself, even though I got a whooping sometimes. But she taught me how to love myself, and my coaches and my professors, my teachers, they taught me how to love myself. Project Embrace, CETA, the Boys Club, Wesley House, Greater New Hope Baptist Church. My neighbors, Miss Turnstile or Miss Johnson or whoever else fed me. My elementary teacher, Mr. Williams, who used to paddle me every once in a while. And so, the love of my community, when my mama couldn't be there, those other people were surrogate mothers and surrogate fathers. And so I know it was successful. And those women demonstrated, similar to what I talked about earlier today with OEDC and in Jackson and them trying to evict them. In the projects, we had rent parties, so no one would get evicted. But today, we got organizations whose main purpose is to develop economics, and that's what it says in their title. But they lead with the evictions, and that's not the only people. And so, I grew up as a kid, coming collectively, putting out 50 cents because one of our neighbors was in distress of losing their home. We put our 50 cents together, got another quarter, buy some Kool-Aid, got another quarter, bought a bologna sandwich that they had, and some tater chips, and that family was able to pay their rent so they wouldn't be evicted. And so that's how I grew up, baby. And I'm not going to deviate. And if organizations are supposed to be here to and that's from the church also, because the church have always been significant in that rehabilitation and love. And I feel if it's I'm an elder now. If it's wiltering per se, then God ain't gonna question me. God gonna say, William, did you say something? And I'm gonna say, yep, God, I said something. I ain't gonna say no. Y'all gonna say no. I was on the sideline. I didn't do nothing. No,
And that's
if it's something, I think, and you a minister per se. If we see something, and I didn't read the Bible or Quran on purpose because I didn't want to continue to be indoctrinated by the Romans and the Greeks. But didn't they say that if you look out the window and you see some sin and you don't say nothing about the sin, ain't you as guilty as the sinful person?
you're supposed to bring it to the person's attention, put it that way, and you're not supposed to just allow uh, people, because God doesn't like sin. But I'm saying, but ultimately, God is the person. If you know, William and Rodney knows when we sin it, and we know when we're doing wrong.
Right.
And unfortunately, some sin to some folks it feels good or whatever else, and it becomes an addiction to the point that you don't change. And it's the way God loves us; He gives us free will. And unfortunately, free will comes with rewards and consequences. And if you continue to sin, and the way it's supposed to work, if you come to me and you say, "Hey, Rodney, you messing up," and I go, "Well, okay, Will, that's your opinion." But then you come with me with another brother and say, "We both in agreement, Rodney. You need to change your ways because it's leading you down the wrong path."
Right.
Well, Rodney's the fool if he sits back and goes, "William and another brother came to me in love and said, what you're doing is wrong, it's foul, it's hurting your community, it's hurting you. And if I continue to do that, it's a guarantee that I'm going to face some consequences and changes." And I mean, you've been on the face of the planet about as long as I have, and we can see some people who continue to make wrong choices, continue to ignore the signs. I mean, you can say the signs say 80, but if you're going 100 and you get pulled over, well, that man gonna give you a ticket.
Right.
And I think that's where, when we talk about sin, you come to the person and you call it out, but you are at fault when you sit back and you see the widow, the strangers, the orphan and widows, the people in prison, and you know things are unjust, and you have nothing to say about it. And I like what you were saying, because there's biblical context for that. In the book of Acts, they said that the apostles and everybody came together and they put their stuff together, sold what they had, so nobody suffered lack. The same thing you were talking about in the Hilltop Projects. They didn't want to see anybody get evicted. They didn't want to see young kids and stuff that might have an opportunity to do better. And I can actually help that, and I don't.
Right.
That's where the problem comes.
So that's why I say those women of the projects, the love, the ethics, the loyalty that they taught us young people, that we was kids, but they taught us that it's so important that our neighbors stay, that we're gonna come together collectively. And my mama could read and write. So, and we got smartphones of the day. So, I'll be 61 next month, and so I'm just a little bit more irritated. I'm a little less patient. I got a lot of brothers and sisters that are dying. A lot of people didn't show up for Ira Combs' funeral, and Ira Combs got a award from President Obama as one of the leading spokesperson of our health in Nebraska history. And only 2 people with distinguished came to his funeral. At least Miss Polk called me because she was sick. She just had a stroke. But Brenda Council and brother Willie Barney, only one showed up. And so that was my doctor. And he actually looked like Noah the prophet. And for real. And he did Noah work for real. he was actually a prophet, and then most of his roadblocks were black people, not white folks. It's people that look like him. Were the main one putting the obstacles. I'm tired of it. Same thing with Preston Love dad before he died. Preston Love Sr. when he worked for the Omaha Star, when I was doing my TV show on Channel 22, he'll call me right after the show, come down and talk to me. So I looked up to those men because my father wasn't around. So I listened to their struggles, and black people around here, some of them still alive, they put roadblocks in front of those men where our community could be in a lot further. Another one, John Beasley, created opportunity for many actors around here. Again, black people putting their roadblocks in front of him. And so I'm tired of it. They do it in front of me, but God prepared me for this, baby. I'm an All-American at track. I'm used to obstacles. Without a doubt, baby. So I'm used to obstacles. I'm an All-American. So I conquered all obstacles. The only thing I couldn't do was a pole vault. That's the only thing I couldn't do was the pole vault. I didn't conquer that one. But everything else.
So how is your faith played? How is your faith played into that?
Well, I tell everybody I went to a Lutheran college. I was raised Baptist. I sent my son to Catholic school. I got married in an African Methodist Episcopal church. And the first time I felt God, I was with the Nation of Islam at the Million Man March, October 16th, 1995. The first time I actually felt God. So I have respect for all religions. And then shouts out to the Jehovah's Witness because they kept on knocking on my door. They kept on knocking on the door. So I got experience for everybody, baby, without a doubt. And so I have respect for all religions, but each religion say, and to me, since y'all say the devil came down here because of the way he did to God. So I think he had a part in developing these religions because all religions were developed by man. And each religion say, I'm better than you. Well, if you're not if you're not a Baptist, you're not going to go to heaven. Or if you're not Koji, you're not going to heaven. Or if you're not Catholic, you're not going to heaven. So when I went to a Lutheran college, Martin Luther, and he separated out of Catholicism, it opened my eyes up. And then I was 18, and I started hearing the voice of Malcolm X. It changed my game, changed my mindset. So I chose not to be indoctrinated with the Roman Greek religion philosophy. And so I used my mama. I default with my mama. My mama had a PhD in common sense. She couldn't even read your Bible. She come from neology. She actually practiced what God talked about, not read about it and don't act on it. So I come from women and men that act on it. Because if I was mischievous, my neighbor spanked me. Out of love.
Yeah, that went on.
Out of love.
It's funny you mentioned that because there's it's either Thursday or next Tuesday. I'm doing a podcast on just that because I believe it's called Bible Plus, Bible Minus, or Bible Period. And
right.
The premise of this is saying that some folks have Bible Plus. They have God plus whatever they added to it, whether it's cultural,
right,
whatever traditions they got. And if you don't believe the way I believe and do as I do, then there's a problem. And then you got people that are Bible minus who basically say, I don't agree with this. They take the scissors to it and they say, I don't like this, like the Bible, God minus this. But it's the Bible, period. And I think the problem when people look at Genesis, in my opinion, is that God told man really, really, really simple. He said, you can have everything else to do that, just don't mess with the tree. And man has been telling God that he's not enough forever. Religions come out of us telling God that he's not enough. He's even giving us a chance to come back and say, you know what? Jesus died on the cross and said it was finished, but we keep adding. We keep changing. We keep making it difficult for all these obstacles in the entry. And that's kind of the reason why the podcast is called Just in Case You Missed Sunday School. I read a book that said back in the day before Black people were able to read or learn trades or skills, and they didn't mind people being, praising and doing that. But it was in the Sunday school where people, if they didn't know how to read, they was teaching them how to read and write.
Right.
If there was people that needed training so they knew about a job and they needed to know how to do masonry, whatever else, they were learning that while they was in Sunday school.
Right
And some
now.
people say, well, you say it's a Bible study and this, that, and the other, but you talk to whoever. I'm saying God is using William King the way God is using William King for his glory. This radio station, I mean, he was one of the people that gave me the confidence to even try this, because I would go to his radio station and I'd ask him about what this equipment is and how you do this. And he was like, why don't you come on? And I was like, no, I don't. And it's those opportunities that he's creating for people, not just like myself, but he's done it for countless others. That's a heart that he can only get from God. Because if he wanted to, he could use his gifts, his talents, his frustration for money. He could just be strictly about, I want to make all the money, do this. But he's made sure that different things. And I'm just saying, when we look at people and what they do and what they sacrifice to do what they do, we have to ask ourselves, because there's a lot of people that just because you go to church every day does not make you a Christian.
Right.
It does not make you a person of God just because you attend church every Sunday, because there's a life Monday through Saturday. And so I put an article out there that the reason a lot of kids and spouses don't go to church, because I could be the reason. They see me act one way on Sunday and then see me act a whole different way the rest of the week.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that the church, and when we had that 24-hour prayer meeting, that some of the leaders recognize that the church has some repenting to do.
Mm-hmm.
We have some things that we need to say, we're sorry, and we need to do better. Because, and there's been some things where we've looked the other way and we shouldn't have. And like I said, it's just be real. I mean, it ain't well, it is Tuesday, so it's still Tell the Truth Tuesday.
Yeah,
right?
Tell the Truth Tuesday. So we actually practice telling the truth, because I couldn't lie to my mama. I couldn't blame nobody else. I couldn't even blame the devil. I had to take total responsibility.
No, the devil don't make us. I mean, there's a lot of things we can't blame the devil for. We know right from wrong. We know that what we're doing, and a lot of times we do things willingly. We know, and we know that, and we say the consequences, and we say the heck with that. I don't care.
Yeah,
and,
without doubt.
You get what you get.
Well, you mentioned that some people love sin. Some sin is good. Now,
no sin is good.
Yeah,
no. If it's sin, no sin is good.
No. If I had an extra piece of pie, I'm gonna eat that piece of pie. And they might. No, I'm just kidding. But
I'm saying I'm a firm believer. You eat too much extra pieces of pie and chicken and whatever else, you're gonna suffer the consequences of that.
And it's sinful, because should we take care of our bodies. But I encourage people, especially on Love Yourself Thursday, go and eat that piece of pie, but just take a couple extra steps on Friday. That's it.
Okay. All right.
Love yourself. Love yourself. Be selfish sometimes, because we take care of everybody else.
How did you initially? I've heard the story before, but how did you initially get started in this and develop Media King Communications from?
We talk about the radio side. You said the radio side.
How did you start the radio side?
Well, it came from a short white guy named Jack Dunn. I was waiting for my my nephew. He was when Big Mama was over at the School of Deaf on 42nd, 45th and Bedford, and at that time Billy T had sold his radio station that he had, and I was doing like radio drops for his radio station, and so we didn't have no black radio station, what I mean, and we used to get talked about by KFAB, and people get mad and stuff, and so. He came to me. I was waiting on my nephew, and he said, "Bill, have you heard of Part 15 technology?" I said, "No, I ain't ever heard of Part 15 technology." He said, "Well, it's a technology where it's a tenth of a watt or 100 milliwatts. You can operate a transmitter, a radio transmitter, without a FCC license." I said, "What?" I said, "I never heard that, because a FCC radio license costs tens of thousands and millions of dollars." And so, after he told me that, I went home and I researched. And I wrote a plan. After I researched, I found out who was making the best Part 15 transmitter in the country. And there was this one guy named Brother Hamilton. I still got I think I still got his number. Richard, I think it's Richard Hamilton. Hamilton Rangemasters. So I got his number and I called him. I said, brother, man, I represent one of the poorest areas of the country, and we don't have no radio station, and I need a discount on your transmitters. And so the transmitter is about like $800. She gave me like $200 discount on each transmitter. So after I knew how much it cost, I went to the United Black. It was called a United Black Fund. It was started by Tyreek Gainey, Mr. Taylor at the African bookstore, where young blacks can pitch ideas and they'll fund it.
So this was Shark Tank before they were Shark Tank.
Yeah, without a doubt. Before Shark Tank was at the African American bookstore.
Okay.
Right now, we're on 37th. Right now, we moved to 37th Street. That was on 33rd Street, right across from the projects where I grew up at. See, I told you, boy, man. Some of y'all people owe me taxes. Y'all own my land. If you own the land between 33rd, between Lake and Parker, y'all owe me some taxes. I don't care. I don't know who's over there. I heard a couple of businesses on that property, but so they funded me, and then Larry Bradley, who's this is when I started my nonprofit after I left the probation office. Larry Bradley was Native American from the Lakota tribe. He donated $1,000, and I bought my first transmitters. This is when I was married. I dug up my yard. My wife didn't like it. Ex-wife didn't like it, but I put 30 10-foot copper rods in my yard. I daisy chained them with copper wire, and I put the transmitter on top of my house, and I daisy chained them. And with that broadcast, I was getting about a 3-mile radius when I first started out. And I read all this. I called Hamilton, to help me with the configurations. And my first interview was with Mayor Soto. He came down to my basement. I had my studio in my basement, and Mayor Soto came to my basement. That was my first interview. And so that's how I started. Then I would move my transmitter around, and one of my great partners was Brian Newman. Brian Newman had a gas station on 30th and Ames. So I would take my transmitter, put it on top of the gas station, and then I had my sign said, turn your station to 1690 AM. And so they could hear our broadcast. So that's how I started out. After that, I was at his gas station one other time. So this is when apps were starting to be developed, probably 2008, 2009. And I said, dang, I need to get an app. I need analytics, because people ask me how many people listening, how many people listening. I said, I need to get analytics. So I was at the gas station. The fastest man in Nebraska, he pulled up like flash. Vincent, Brother Vincent, that ran track for Burke High School.
Oh, your brother Willie, yeah.
Willie Vincent. Yeah. And he was with his son, and I was telling, I had a radio station going. I said, man, I need an app. And he said, his son said, man, my good friend, he makes apps. He built apps. He go down to Morehouse. I said, give me his number. So I called this 19-year-old. I don't know how old I was then. I'm 30, 40 something, 40 something. I called a 19-year-old. I said, man, I need an app developed. This 19-year-old developed my first app, 1690 app, and we blew up. We started doing shows. Y'all call it podcasting. I call it community access radio. When I first started out, I was doing podcasting back in 2009, 2010. So podcasting to me is old.
Well, you a visionary, man. You've been ahead of the game for it's just us old dudes that just try to catch up, get in where we fit in.
And then 2011, remember the Schoolhouse Rock? I'm only a bill, and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. So 2011, I heard our Congressman Lee Terry was writing a bill called the Local Community Radio Act, and it will allow nonprofits for the first time to have to apply for radio stations without any costs. All you had to have is a 501c3. So I followed this bill. I'm only a bill, and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. And so it went to the House, passed the House. It went to committee, came out of committee, and went to rulemaking. And then I participated in rulemaking and went back to the House. The House passed it. It went to the Senate. Same thing. Went to the committee. Came out of committee. They need to develop rules. I participated in rules. Senate voted on it. The Senate passed it. Guess who was president? Obama. I met Obama at Salem Church, baby, the year prior.
And did he remember you?
Heck yeah, man. Man, he tall, dark, and handsome. I'm tall, dark, and handsome. What would you
Okay.
think? What you think?
All right.
What you think? He's 6'3", I'm 6'2". You know what I mean? So I had the opportunity to lobby Republican Lee Terry, and of course I had a chance to lobby our future president. He signed it into law. That's really the last time Republicans and Democrats really worked together, in 2013 when he signed that bill. Was blessed to apply. Lee Terry, my man, mentioned my name and Tim Clark's name in the congressional records when that bill passed. He said that I'll probably be one of the first to use this license. So I'm in the congressional records, baby. That's why we the boss.
You the boss.
That's why we the boss. They say I don't brag on it too much, but this year I'm bragging off God this year, because all this stuff come from God, baby. All this stuff comes from God.
And that's one of the things I you may not feel that way. You probably feel that way. I believe God's got his hands all over you, man. And I believe that.
If God got his hands on me, tell God I need I really don't ask for no. I really don't ask for no
what I'm
money.
saying is that I mean the doors that have been open for you and the opportunities that you've been afforded. Like I said, and the fact that you sit back and you still give honor your mom, because like I said, I had dads. I went to the boys club. I had Mr. Mac, Al, Tree, Ike, Walter Henderson, Parker, John Lewis. They were like dads, uncles, and big brothers to me. And we learned a lot from them. And I realized that when I sit back and go, well, my dad wasn't around, blah, 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 blah. No. God made sure that he put me in Wesley House, Cedar Jobs, all these kind of things that came up that God put godly men in front of me. And he said, look, he told me, I guess me and my brother, you can make a choice. Or as that one rapper, you can get with this or you can get with that. And once you start seeing a lot of stuff that you go, man, that's whack. And plus, I had a mama that would always go. She was always talking about killing us. So I was about 17 years old.
So you want to die?
I didn't want to die because I thought she was always talking about killing us. So I mean, and that's one of the things that the church, we have to start recognizing people that God is using in and outside. I want to play a brief clip for you. I want to get your thoughts, because a lot of people say what the church is doing and not doing. There's a lot of things we could do better and things that we can move and improve. But I look at Jamal Bryant and the whole Target thing, and now the CEO retired, the stocks went down, all because he opened his mouth and said, we need to come together. And when they say certain things, I want your thoughts on this clip. I'm going to play this clip when I'm probably going to get comments on this, but
understand that in order for us to move forward, that the next progressive step after civil rights is civil rights. Dr. King, just 1 month before his assassination, confided to Harry Belafonte, I believe we have integrated the Negro into a burning house. What is the point of black people being able to sit at a lunch counter if they cannot afford a hamburger? Economic development has got to be our agenda as we move forward. If our people only hear about economics when you are asking for a tithe, then you are running a sanctified Ponzi scheme. We've got to do something that talks about how do we reverse gentrification, how it is that our young people move from being employees to being employers. How do we shift the narrative from being renters to being owners? I tell the members of my church, I'm not in your church, in my church, I tell my members, never go to a church where you can tell which car is the pastor's. Because if you can tell which car is the pastor's, there's no real discipleship. When they came to arrest Jesus, they didn't know which one was Jesus because all 12 was wearing the same kind of robe. All 12 had the same kind of sandals. All 12 had the same kind of exterior. If we're not teaching that, then we're missing the mark. I'm a third generation preacher, and I got up 2 years ago and I repented to my church. I repented to my church because over 50 years of being in the black church, I need you to hear me with rapt attention. 50 years of being in the black church, I have never seen the black church give a scholarship to a young man that wanted a CDL license. I've never seen the black church give a scholarship to a young lady that wanted to be an esthetician. I have never seen the black church help a young man get their plumber's license. The black church has adopted W.E.B. Du Bois and thrown away Booker T. And we act as if you have a trade that you are second class when there's getting ready to be a need for over 300,000 people who need plumbing and HVAC and electricians. But we have turned the church into a country club and Martha's Vineyard and the Hamptons. Negroes, if you forget where you came from, you're going to lose an entire generation that's trying to figure out, is the church still relevant? We've got to understand.
That's why they call me Reverend New Hope. The only
That's
hope
I'm giving you a chance. We need a sense of hope. I'm giving you a chance. Give me a pulpit for yourself tonight.
The blind preacher came to me years ago when I came to those reverends and asked them to put their money together collectively, and so our congregations can benefit. Now, I do want to give credit to Dr. Martin Williams at the Ambassador, because he has empowered his congregation to be entrepreneurs and set up in the environment where they can flourish with their entrepreneur spirit. But he's the only one. He's the only one, period. And so I know other people, pastors get mad. So what? Get mad because you're not doing it. And to me, I'm testing every preacher. I know it's some new ones in town. I'm gonna take my glasses off for this one. I know it's some new ones in town. The last one we ran out. If the pastors don't do, and this is a legit question, Brother Nichols, the Catholics, the Jews, the Jehovah's Witness, the Koji, the Baptists, all of them, even Jehovah's Witness, all of them believe in one God. All of them believe in one God. So what's the problem? I don't understand what the problem is. And so if they can't come together, cross denominations, especially we need a Project 26 for our Black people, like they had Project 25 for their people. And if pastors don't come together, we got two Black institutions that collect money, Carver Bank and Young Bank. Now they collaborate with other banks, but this is all we got. If we don't at least have a dialogue where we put all our money together and use collective economics, and now our congregation have a better chance of getting loans, getting their first house, be able to go to college, whatever else they need funds for, or build a business, we can do that ourselves, collectively. But the broom man who could not see, the blind broom man, the pastor told me, he said that the pastors don't trust each other. And they have demonstrated that they don't trust each other because they don't work with each other. Now, yourself, I thought you did a great move. Now, Pastor Perkins, he brought the peach, the pastor bowl. Now, I thought it was different clergy, but it's the same flock of people. You came with at least an attempt to bring all different denominations together to come fellowship together, sing and fellowship and spread joy and network and do business. And that's what we need to do. If we don't come together collectively, we are doomed. I'm not going to participate in our doom at all. And I'm testing these preachers, ministers, and bishops that we got to come together collectively, put our money together so we can decrease the number of incarceration by making sure that we can fund in our own jobs, our own infrastructure. We could do it ourselves.
And one of the things that Dr. Bryant brought up that I thought was, I showed you that clip, is he was saying, do you realize AI is not going to replace plumbers?
It's not.
He's not going to replace people that
Electricians,
work on electricians, air conditioned people, and these things. That's way down the road,
carpenters,
and we're
construction,
not positioning ourselves to have
not
the
at all.
ability to say, well, I won't say not at all,
Or, or,
because
or, or, or even,
out of that 24-hour church coming together and talking, and pastors praying and congregations praying and different things, I think they realize that there is a need for us to come together, because we will, if we continue down the same road, we're going to perish. And one of the reasons that I think a lot of people are looking at that, because I have a great hope. There was a church on purpose, and they had this demographic that they say is almost like finding Bigfoot or where they had these young people, 18 to 35. They came out and supported their pastor. They came out, prayed. They had prayers. They had real discussion. I went and visited, and they are doing some things where pooling their resources together. I mean, I heard this idea where they were saying, "What if?" And I thought, that's it shouldn't be a what if. It should be almost a thing where they said, "What if 500 churches decided to put in $500 a month towards one of these banks, like you were just mentioning with them, and the congregants that said we're going to put $50 a month over a period of time." And let's just say, I look at things. What is the 50-year goal? What will the people in 2076 look back at the people in 2026 and be thankful? I mean, I say you're doing some things right now that I said that I think if the world's still here in 50 years, I know I won't be. But I think people will be able to look back and go, I am so thankful, in the same way that we celebrate Black History Month.
I think, brother, right now, I think our ancestors will be disappointed. I feel that God is not going to bless us anymore. Period. That's my feeling. I don't because right now I feel it's lot time. And right now, if we don't vote, and all this whining and damn crying, and I guarantee you, we're gonna be complacent and be a victim and not vote, or like the system not gonna work. And
I think it goes in and I think the one thing that I'm hoping your platform and well, I mean, it's more than just hope, is a plan, because what normally ends up happening, we're the only people in the last 50 to 60 years that never comes with a unified ass for nothing.
Tired. But I mean,
it's time to come together. I mean, if there's 2 or 3 things, if you look at the women, they came together and they Lily Ledbetter Act. Gays and homosexuals, they came together and they got some stuff passed. What does Black people, or if God came to you, what honestly, would you say we needed?
Those 2 groups, those 2 groups used the blood, sweat, and tears and sacrifice of our ancestors through those amendments. Now, gay rights, they use the civil rights movement. Every group have used our ancestors except for us.
And that's what I'm saying. We need to have a unified ass.
Except for us, our ancestors died for nothing, dude. Honestly, and I'm a king.
No, I can't say I can't agree with you on that. I can't agree with you on that.
I saw a video. Even he's 3rd generation. Pastor Brian, he's 3rd generation. He said the same thing that his 1st generation preacher saying. We need to stick together. We free. He's saying the same thing as his 1st generation preacher.
Can you at least give him credit for opening his mouth?
No. I'm with him. I'm with him.
And saying the target. But look, we're not going.
Ain't nobody gonna follow him. Ain't nobody gonna follow him because
no, I say they did, because I look at my own family.
You did.
Target's Crotch Street. We didn't go to Target. I was like, no, we can't go to Target.
I know, but men don't really go shopping anyway. Women go shopping.
No, but I'm a big convenience junkie, and Target's right across the street from where I work. So I'm like, if it's convenient and priced right, I might consider it. But what I'm saying is that these little things are.
So let me ask you a question. So I've been interviewing like different reverends. The last one was Brother Neri for Nation Islam, and I asked him. I said, you think we winning with half of the population of Black people in jail? 50% of all children in Dutch County in foster care are Black. Over 50% of all children in jail are Black, and I asked them, "Are we winning? Are you think we winning?" Ask those kids that's part of those statistics. Are we winning? No, we're not winning. And I tell that to any clergy. I don't care who you are. We're not winning. Ask those kids in foster care. Ask them, are we winning? We're not winning. And there's a church down in Texas, and I forget the pastor name, I forget the movie name, where you probably remember it, where they adopted all the foster care kids down in Texas. Love thy neighbor. I'm tired of people being hypocrites. I come from an era where our word was bond. I come from where when real preachers, Reverend Kelly, them they cross worshipped.
You know, and like I said, I really believe, and I'm not saying this, but there
and
is
I'm
a
Reverend
group,
New Hope, the only hope you got.
there
I
is
do not have no hope. I do not have no hope for these.
There's
preachers.
some great men and women of God who are doing some great things.
Individually,
and moving. No, collectively. Because the reason I say I know that she's doing a great job is because there were some preachers when we did 24 hours. Portia Cabot with IMA and her church.
According to Gino got problems with certain preachers, and so in the Bible. So I'm going with y'all. But let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Let me ask you another question. Now, did Jesus? You know, I read the Bible on purpose because did Jesus put hands on the preacher in the church? Did he put hands on the preacher in the church because of the money?
Well, he turned tables over. He turned tables over
violent.
In churches because they were using his church for something that it was never intended for.
Okay, and still doing it. It's still doing it.
But the thing, Brother King, I you know, like I said, I'm not sitting there defending the actions of every pastor in every church,
right?
But the same way that people look at us and they say we're the only race of people that if one black person does something, we go, oh Lord, like everybody did it. Nobody ever. I've never heard anybody say, well, Jeffrey Dahmer was eating people. I've never heard anybody say, "Oh, white people eat somebody."
Yes, it is.
Black people.
It's coming out on internet right now.
Okay, it's a whole bunch of stuff. But I'm saying we can stop evaluating the church by the lowest common denominator, because there's Freddie Haynes, there's a Brian Page. There's a Jonathan Chapman. There's a Bishop KB Chambers. There's a Portia Cabot. There are men and women that are doing some great things in the city. It's just that
individually,
they're doing things collectively.
No, they're not
moving in a different way. No,
they're not, brother. Now, I give credit to you. We're putting together a cross-denominational event. None of them have done a cross-denominational event. Tell me one.
But they are
individually doing stuff.
I am thankful that by that one little event, there's other churches that have reached out and said, you know what, brother, if you do it again, can we please? I want to be a part. I should have been a part of it. I didn't miss out.
You know why?
This is what we need to do.
Because you work for God, and that's what God would do. And I challenge my listeners to think how God would think, not how man would think.
I agree.
Period.
We save ourselves a lot of problems.
Not Jesus, God. How God would handle this. And if you elevate your thought, I mean, you're thinking, man, you think like a God. And so, brother, I'm tired of waiting. I'll be 61. Ira Combs died last week, 2 weeks ago. None of the clergy showed up for him.
There were some clergy that showed up because I talked to a clergy member at the 24th thing and said that he did not understand because he's not even from here. He said, as much as Ira did for this community since he's been here, I could not believe that there wasn't.
They back on him. Only one that showed up was Brenda Council and Willie Barney of high leadership per se. None of them showed up. Now Miss Polk called me. Miss Polk just had a stroke though, so she couldn't go. But none of these so-called Negroes that follow God, Man, Ira Cohn got medals from Obama, dude.
And you know why Ira Combs got medals from Obama and whatever else? Because he did not do what he did for the applause and the things of men.
Dude, he
And
was
actually
actually a prophet. He was actually a prophet.
But what Ira
like
Combs
Noah.
did is something that, I mean, I would hope to be as a Christian.
The church turned
What
their
he
back
did
on him.
is it will outlive him.
He wasn't even buried in the church. He wasn't even buried. He was buried in a mortuary. And so that's why that's why I know, brother, you might bury me, brother Nichols. You might find a church around, but they're gonna do the same thing to me. They gonna allow a church right here in Omaha. They are not gonna bury William King. They are not gonna allow it, brother. I'm gonna have to be buried in a mortuary. They're gonna have first in the mortuary because the church is not gonna allow, like they did Brother Combs. A church wouldn't say a free to do it for free. Come on, man. And that brother, his health fares was my doctor, dude. I couldn't afford a doctor, brother. His health fares was my damn doctor.
And do you know for a fact? Do you know for a fact that wasn't Brother Combs's wishes for his arrangements?
Again, there should have been a church that volunteered. I got him because he got the damn community year after year. I would have did it.
Well, like I said, it may not.
So
knowing what little bit I know about Ira Combs,
no church did it.
He may not even that may have been his wishes.
Well, you know, he did. How could that be his wishes, brother?
I'm just saying that in my own will, there's certain things in there that I told my daughters that I want.
Brother, just like me and you talk candidly, people want to come around and want to be Johnny B. Lakely because with your event, I thought it was, damn, this is what God said to do. It's actually love thy neighbor. That's what God told us to do.
Well, like I said, I am thankful for the men and women and congregations that did show up and participate.
I am too.
Because it has the ability, if God said, God willing, if we want to do it again, and maybe it'll be better. Because I think a lot of times when something
to me is great.
When something happens for the first time, and I guess it could have happened before. I don't know. I wasn't aware of it, but I wholeheartly believe it's the start.
Yeah, without doubt.
And if it can grow from there, and we can put down our theologies and traditions, and
thank you, brother.
And really want to make sure that it is heaven on earth. We will continue because it says, if my people will humble themselves. It starts out if
they're not, brother. They're not.
Well, no, you can't say they're not because some did.
According to Dorsky, what's his name? Dorsky, the comedian, and you got reverends coming out the sky, and then got the blood of Jesus. They got the red bottom shoes.
Yeah, but that's not every minister. There's a lot of ministers that work secondary jobs. Well, they got to go to the funerals. They got to visit the sick and shut-ins.
Yeah, we got 2 or 3
be with their family. And there's more than 2 or 3.
Okay,
there's more than 2 or 3. And I mean, like I said, I won't. There are. We see the people that they highlight and make characters of, but there are a lot of men and women who sacrifice daily, and they truly do what they say and what they believe. There's a lot that's not. I'm not going to sit there and say everyone is, but you
got hope for him. You got hope for him. Well,
it's not even. See, to me,
I'm losing hope, brother.
I can't say because the fact I'm talking to you and the things that you do and you continue to do. You said at the beginning of this podcast that you are working on some other things now that you hope to announce in the beginning of the year. What you've done so far, at least in my opinion, is to help out other folks. You have made sacrifices.
I don't get no credit though, brother. But
to do that,
I understand that, but it's not about me.
What I'm saying, but what I'm saying is that there is a Willie King. There's a Willie Barney that's doing his thing. There's a Willie Hamilton that has been serving the community, and they've been leading by bleeding. They're not the only one that, unfortunately, our folks sometimes are the ones that's throwing the darts and shooting the arrows. But people like y'all continue to do what you do. that gives me hope
Wait,
because
wait.
you could basically say, I'm not gonna do this. What am I trying to help these people for? You
Yeah.
could go do something else. But when I see the WWW, I just say you Willie and Willie, I go, what has propelled you guys to continue to do the things that you do in the
Hmm.
face of all
Adversity.
these adversity, these things here? And that's because when you allow the Lord
Hmm.
to order your steps, he never said it was going to be easy. And the thing that people don't miss out on when we talk about being a child of God is that there's a large suffering piece. Jesus suffered. The example suffered. The dude was
Hmm.
trying to save people, and they casting lots and different things. And the thing that always gets me, because I'm glad that God didn't call me to be Jesus, God, nobody else, because if I'd have been sitting there and I seen what everybody else done, and I ain't gonna be. I don't know if I don't know if I'm man enough to sit there and say, "Lord, forgive them, for they
Hmm.
don't know not what they do." I'm like, wait a minute, they know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
But when you have that, that's where my hope comes in. That's why I do the podcast. That's why I
Hmm.
ask you to come on and other people because that's a sense of hope because you
Hmm.
ain't quit.
Well, I got a call from a lady, and she asked, "Do I believe in God?" And I said, "What?" It was kind of I didn't let her know it offended me, but yeah, I told her I believe in God without a doubt. I come from a mom that couldn't even read the Bible, so she come from neology, which is the best theology. When you're not manipulated, you actually practice what you preach. But you know, we got a lot of great men are dying. Kenny just died. I mean, he got a lot of kids in college. There's no street name after Eddie Staten, who developed a Mad Dash, but they gave a street for Dominique Morgan, who stole money. And so this community awards thieves because another thief that stole money through my organization just got an award. I don't get awards around here. I got recognized one time, way long time ago, way long about 30 years ago. None of these Negroes gave me an award, and I built something. And so I'm tired of brothers and sisters that actually built something that don't get no credit, like Ira Combs. He actually built something and did not get any recognition from any of these
Well,
Negroes on the local level.
I am personally thankful for the life and the ministry of Ira Combs. I was not able to go to
He
the
actually
funeral because I
built
couldn't get
something.
off.
Most
And
of these leaders down here, they work for other people and they get awarded, brother. I'm tired of people that actually built something, have built an
well,
infrastructure, and they get no credit.
I don't know, and I don't have this on speed dial from God,
Mhm.
but I definitely believe that the way He may have wired you, for the simple fact that you don't get the credit, kind of in there says, you know what, I'm gonna keep doing it, and I'm gonna keep showing them, and I'm gonna keep doing and achieving milestones and whatever else,
Oh
because it
yeah.
ain't about the credit, it ain't about you
Well,
just know that there's another William King and a
mhm,
Rodney Nichols who are sitting in some elementary school that are hoping that somebody will do some things
mhm,
that will give them the opportunity that maybe in 50 years they'll be sitting like me and you. Because
mhm.
who would have ever thunk it that me and you being at the boys club and playing shooting pool and playing ping pong and swimming blue trunks and red trunks
Yeah.
and all that stuff would have the opportunities that are afforded to us today to
Mhm.
utilize a platform to uh, promote it. By no means am I comparing what I'm doing to what you're doing because it's what you've done is man, that's just amazing. But
No.
I'm just saying that's where the hope has to continue to come from.
Mhm.
And
Right.
seeing people that do not, for whatever reason, it says, don't become weary in well doing, because in due season you will reap the harvest. And brother, you have reaped some harvests. You
Mhm.
know, God has blessed you to doing that, and God has blessed many others. I mean, I'm excited. I remember when Willie Barney was first talking about Empowerment Network.
Mhm.
I remember when Willie Hamilton was up at what's the school up here, Mount View,
Yeah, Mount View.
shaking hands with kids and doing certain things. And now you come down to Ames on some Saturdays, 30th and Ames. It's lined up from there all the way back up AIM somewhere for the
Right.
people that he's feeding that's within need. And what I'm saying is that I am so thankful that people like yourself and others are not caught up in what man says. You have to be caught up, in my opinion, what God says. And if God's pleased, I could care less what anybody else thinks.
Right.
I don't sit back and worry about it. And I think you're doing that. And that's why I'm saying that don't do that. And I'm gonna ask you one last thing, because you
Okay.
are Reverend
What,
New Hope.
what do you want me to leave the preachers alone or something?
No, I ain't gonna ask you to leave
Okay.
the preachers
Okay.
alone. What if God leads you to say what you want to say? I just asked it to be factual. Make sure that it's
Well, you
more
know,
surgical than just a
well, you-
machete and just cut everybody. But
oh yeah. Well, you
yeah,
know, I gotta let brother, we are a research radio station, so I say things on purpose just to stimulate
yeah,
conversation, and
and that's
so
what you that's
and-
what you
mhm,
do. I mean, what you call it?
mhm,
Howard Stern became a gazillionaire by just
mhm.
saying whatever. So
Yeah. No.
that's your thing there. But what I
Mhm.
am going to ask you to do, because I so much appreciate you taking the time out to doing this, because it is a little different seeing you on the other side
Yeah.
of the
Real funny.
interview thing. But since you are Reverend New Hope, and like I said, this is still a faith-based podcast,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna let you close us out in prayer.
Well, I appreciate you, brother Nicholas. Uh,
Prayer is whatever you want to
and,
say, man. It's
and,
just you
and,
talking to God.
and
Bless
you
us, man.
and you way better than Saint Nick. You way better than Saint Nick, without a doubt.
I
Omaha,
don't
the
know about
birds are
all that.
blessed. Omaha, the birds are blessed. I guess my prayer would be, since it's Tell the Truth Tuesday, is to be honest with yourself, um, and love yourself today, without a doubt. Time is not promised, so maximize today with happiness. No matter what obstacle, no matter what disability that you have, without a doubt. And eat some good food too at the same time. And pray for your brothers and sisters. Amen. Before,
Amen. Amen. That's the
and,
prayer.
and before we leave, I had an opportunity to go back to a facility. Sean invited me to a house where they have develop. I'm about to start a development disabilities. And so you had high functioning to low functioning adults. And so they invited me to speak during Black History Month, and so did the residents, and so they high functioning, all of them. So I think some might have cerebral palsy, and so but they all got up and gave their Black history speech, and it was, and they all different colors, and we talk about racism, and it was 4 white people in there, Caucasian, my 4 white Caucasian brothers, and I asked them, I said, do y'all get, I said, in the summertime, I said, do y'all get darker? He said, yeah, we get tan. I said, well, dang, in the wintertime, I get lighter. And I said, our colors are coming close together. And I said, we can't let the bourgeois, continue to spread the peasant. I said, because we all the same family. Y'all get darker and we get a little bit lighter. And so we're part of the same family. And so,
Amen.
and being around those development disability individuals taught, it just reminded me of, dang, how I was smiling at this, because they're just so happy just to be alive. They're not caring about the politics or the religions of the world that we fight on. Those individuals in that room were just happy just to share, and that we clap for them. And so I'm showing this video, this little tiny brother, they call him hip hop, and I think he got cerebral palsy, and so you can't really understand him, but he's speaking, and he got there and rap, everybody applaud him, and I told him, I said, man, I'm inviting you, because it just touched my heart, because that guy right there, he don't know nothing about no politics, he don't know nothing about the inflation, don't know nothing about no damn tariffs. All he care about is the fellowship of the people around him. And we need to be like that cerebral palsy dude, that Down syndrome guy, that girl, because they appreciate what God have given them. And some of us, so-called intelligent people, we're the totally opposite. And so I felt so good. And God was in that room with those developmental disability individuals. And they was Caucasian, they were Asian, they were Black in there. And God was in the building. And I would hang out around with them versus some of these so-called people that say they're supposed to be leading us. And
well, the doors of the church have been open. Pastor New Hope,
hopefully.
hopefully, all we
Oh
got.
no, hey, brother Nichols, you're gonna have to advocate for me. No one's gonna bury me, and they gonna allow me in their church. They
Well,
said, "Reverend New Hope."
If I'm still around,
I know you'll bury me because you boys club.
we will make sure.
Yeah,
and I won't be the only one. I won't be the only.
Well,
only
it'll probably
one.
be some more boys club, but you know, boys club, we like the Marines. We ain't gonna leave you behind.
No, nobody gonna leave nobody from the club behind. Best fraternity on the face of the planet. That's my opinion.
Brother Nicholas, I appreciate you, brother. Keep manifesting. You are necessary. We all got different ways to deliver. Your ways is a little bit more probably more acceptable than how they want me to deliver it. But we all are necessary. And so I'm an agitator. You should be able to go in that room to negotiate, baby. You should go in that room to negotiate. All right.
Well, that's what we got to do. That's what we got. Well, like they say, I love you, Brother Kenyon loves you, God loves you, and there ain't nothing y'all can do about it.
Without
Continue blessings and good success to you, Brother King, and all the people that are listening tonight.
Okay,
Lord says the same, we'll be back.
Now, are you official minister now?
I am been called minister. Yes.
Okay.
Not a pastor or
okay. Now, what's the difference between a minister and a pastor? What's the difference?
A pastor is licensed to be a pastor of the church. They can do weddings and funerals and this, that, and the other. I'm just somebody that they, every now and then I can speak or do nothing else. I mean, I basically, yeah.
Okay, so the reverend, preacher, minister, they all have different roles. Yes,
they function in different roles. Yep. Pastor's different than my role as I'm just a servant. That's all I just look at it. I'm there to serve however God would call me to serve. And I don't believe I need a title or anything else to do that. I just trust God and keep it moving.
All right, man. We're proud. Keep doing what you're doing, because I know you love God. I don't scare you. I scare all the other reverends. I scare them for sure.
No, there's a lot of people that they love you as I love you, brother King.
Well, I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate good night. I hope this was a good experience. Maybe you'll come back.
Hey, I'll come back again for sure, brother.
All right.
Take care, brother.
Have a good night.
Yes, sir. Rodney Nichols. Yeah, he's from Boys Club. So you can't say no to a Boys Club, baby.